In the last 12 months, we have sold over $2 million in video games on Amazon, all out of this basement right here. And it underwent a significant renovation in the last month that I want to share with you guys today. Up until September, our entire resale operation was from this pole over. So what you see here, which is now our intake and prep station, was our entire office. But recently we expanded, which I am super proud about. We've got tons of game shelves over here, cartridges galore, a bagging station, a huge 2 listing stations now, shipping is over there. And today in this video, what I want to do is take you guys through all of the little micro decisions that I made in this entire space that amount to what I believe is the most hyper-optimized version of this resale business that we have ever had. So what I want to do is start over here, right? Because the entire space is designed so that when games come in the door in a big box of games that somebody ships us through our website, OneUp, it goes through a gradual clockwise journey through this entire space from intake to prepping, to sorting, to bagging, to listing, to shipping. All clockwise, and Spencer's getting dizzy behind the camera right now. What do you think about that, Elsie? She's obsessed with efficiency. This dog cannot get enough. So anyways, this is all brand new. Before, we didn't have designated tables just for checking games in and looking at invoices and making sure that everything's there in a given shipment. We still have a few remaining lingering unsorted games in these stacks here. But this has been an absolute game changer. Being able to have a large, clear surface to open up boxes and stack games in a way that you can clearly see them visually and sort them then into different bins based on what kind of refurbishing they might need, right? Resurfacing light or deep, or replacing cases, or just getting dirt and grime off of cases, unprepped accessories. Essentially, everything that we're getting in the door, if it needs work, it can fit into one of these bins so that we can do these kinds of tasks in bulk. A big part of what I've been learning about operational efficiency is to avoid task switching at all costs. What does that actually mean? It means that it's far more efficient if I can spend an hour just doing unprepped disc games, just wiping stuff down and making cases look nice and clean, rather than spending 10 minutes doing this, and then 10 minutes resurfacing, and then 10 minutes on cords down here, and then 10 minutes on cartridges, because the process of switching tasks in itself costs more time than just doing one thing, right? So every time we can avoid switching tasks, we're saving ourselves a little bit of efficiency. So anyways, back over here, we also upgraded to having actual shelves for when boxes come in. So the last couple days, so we'll check our PO box twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. We may need to start doing it more often because we have essentially like a pickup truck full of packages that people will ship us every time we go to the PO box, and these shelves are pretty much full each time these days. And so we will spend all of our Tuesday and Friday going through each one of these gradually, fully utilizing this table. We'll stack games that don't need any prep, that are already resurfaced and clean and everything, on the edge of this table so that they can directly be sorted onto the shelves and can skip the prep station entirely. But some micro decisions that we made here. One, this is, I can sense a new mantra forming. A new motto for the business is brewing up in this dome here. You guys know I'm really big on little axioms, right? Pay your partners, do less better. The little small catchy phrases that can stick in your mind and inform how you actually operate. This is one of them, folks, that you'll probably see elsewhere throughout this little basement operation. Stay scrappy. How is that evidenced by this little cardboard thing? Well, because we could have gone on Amazon and bought a $10 tray for all of our supplies, or this little box of dry battery Pokemon games, this little cup of little, this is a little literal plastic cup that actually is taped in there of our sharp things. But literally everything in here, all of these little subdividers and mini organizers, it's all just cut up cardboard because at this point, I made a joke on the main channel recently that I'm essentially a cardboard bender. If I was an avatar, I would be a cardboard bender because I have this philosophy of staying scrappy. If you don't need to get fancy, don't do it. Because the longer you can stay scrappy, the safer you're going to be, especially as a startup or an early reseller. So this is just a little evidence of that, and I really like how this turned out, like having literally every supply that we use when we are theoretically checking stuff in, like sticky notes for when we get in defective handhelds and we need to write what the issue is, doesn't read games or doesn't take a charge or whatever. These and the rubber bands that we use to keep those notes on the handhelds are all right here. Batteries to test handhelds, staplers for multi-page invoices, SPs that we aren't going to get confused with our inventory SPs to test the battery situation of Pokemon games. It's all right here, and I love that. Another solid addition that we have made since upgrading our space is this big old rolling trash bin. This comes in especially handy. Up until this point, we had literally just been using like kitchen-sized standard trash cans. You can see one of them over here. And these still work great for like bagging stuff or listing stuff that generates a bunch of this like little plasticky paper. And you don't need a huge amount of space. But where this comes in super handy is swapping out cases, because we'll get huge stacks of games like these that all have trashy cases that we can't send out the door. And so we'll have stacks of games at a time that we need to dispose of the old cases. And for that, we were just filling up those small trash cans way too fast, which resulted in more task switching, as I was talking about before, because you're having to switch between swapping out cases and then taking out the trash too often. You can avoid that by just having a larger trash can. And the fact that this thing has some casters on it and we can wheel it all around the basement depending on who needs it. It's also been fantastic for disposing of extra packing materials. We recycle all the packing materials we possibly can when we're doing intake and then sending games back out the door to Amazon. But because we're so efficient in what we send out, we don't use as many packing materials as we get in the door when people are sending stuff. So all of that excess will also go into this trash can. The only unfortunate thing that kind of teed me off, if you will, was, look at this. This is a 44-gallon trash can. I ordered the largest trash bag size, or the one that was automatically suggested on Lowe's.com. And look, it doesn't even fit. What the heck, Lowe's.com? Send me the right size trash bag, please. I'm 30 years old. This is the kind of thing I get upset about. This is our prepping station. You can see like we've got all of our mostly XYAB cases lined up here. The idea behind this and behind the shipping station and behind the bagging station is that we want as much as possible for all the different activities that go into testing and refurbishing and sorting in whatever video games. We want all of the supplies that you could possibly need to be in arm's reach. That's the whole vision behind this. So down here you've got like styluses. These actually might move over to the bagging station because we usually won't pair styluses until we're in the bagging step of the process. But we've got like Game Boy caps. We've got all the things that you might need to like clean pins or to wipe down cases or replace cases or whatever the heck we are doing. This station would need to be much more substantial if we were doing things like repairs. We'd probably have to have a separate station just for repairs, which is part of the reason that we don't do that. This is a pretty standard testing station. Has all of our consoles on it. Right now, we somehow lost the adapter to this screen, so we haven't used this in a little bit. I'm about to order another one. But in the move, things got a little bit crazy. This is another solid example of staying scrappy because these shelves are little makeup shelves. Clear plastic, acrylic makeup shelves that you can get on Amazon, which I then scrappily use some cardboard behind so that they're at the right angle, which significantly increases the utility because these stacks are way less likely to fall over if you can even pop it up to like a 10-degree angle I've found. So that's probably about what these are at. And I also use some duct tape to make the surface a little bit more grippy. Again, also that we can spend a little bit less time every single day reshuffling and like restacking things because they're all slip sliding around. It's probably version number 4 of those DS and 3DS game shelves. We had a cardboard version for a while. We also were doing a lot of stacks just like flat on here, which is suboptimal for obvious reasons. These are all games that still need to be sorted up on here, but luckily they don't take up a lot of space. These shelves used to be over there, sort of in the corner, but luckily we found them a new home over here and had to buy one less of these media shelves, Atlantic media shelves, that I think this last month I spent almost $1,000 on shelving alone, which is a little bit disgusting, but this system has worked out fantastic. We now have almost double the amount of disk storage space that we had under the previous setup. And holy cow, guys, like, this is fantastic. We used to have, you can see there's a little bit of overflow down here. This is a stack of games that no longer fits in its allotted space on the shelf that we had to just start stacking on the floor. This used to be like all of our shelves were just lined with stacks of games that no longer fit under the previous system. Now, most of them do fit on the shelves, which is really nice. What is there to say about this? It's kind of a work in progress because you sort of have to sort everything on there and then have a couple weeks of getting games in and seeing how things fit and then shuffling around and like maybe these games need to go on that shelf and we need more space for Just Dance because we get tons of those, etc. That's a good microcosm of the idea that literally everything in this whole basement is a work in progress. Nothing is sacred. Every instruction in this business comes with an asterisk, which is unless you know a better way. If you have fully adopted our system that we currently know and you have an idea to make it better, that is always on the table. One of our biggest core values in this business is 1% better. Whether that's on operations, it's on the YouTube channel, it's on the software side. I want to make things better every single day. And these systems that are constantly evolving and I'm having to make updates for fairly regularly, update videos about, I think are a good example of that philosophy. This is also something that we changed recently significantly from the last system. We used to have all of our handhelds in bins. Handhelds are the only kinds of consoles that we take on our side of OneUp, which, by the way, some of you guys may not know, you can actually now, as of this month, sell consoles through OneUp. That was our huge announcement that went to our users subscribed to our emails, or basically everyone who has an account through OneUp. You can now sell consoles on there. They just don't come to us. They come to our partner buyer, Sosa Games. They do an amazing job and offer really solid prices. Console only on stuff, so that was the big update of this last week. But this system is our big update for how we are selling, storing rather, all of our handhelds. They used to be in bins, which I just don't think was as efficient, although as I'm looking at it now, we honestly, there are a couple shelves that we really could use expansion for, right? Like we can't even fit probably 3 of each color original 3DS there if we could expand that down, although I don't know, where would we put that? Still iterating on that, as you can see. We're taking fewer accessories now because Sosa Games is also buying all controllers, which has been cool to sort of simplify our business model down. Again, we're no longer going to be the ones getting like Super Nintendo controllers or PS3 Move controllers. So those boxes within the next few weeks here will be able to go away, and we'll be able to continue to focus down and down and down, which has been a huge thing for our resale business. This right here is the bagging station. So every game that we send out to Amazon is bagged because it has to get labeled. So these are our stacks of things that have not been bagged yet. You can see last Friday we got an absurd number of Fire Reds and Ruby versions in the door in a couple of large shipments. So cool to see all of those stacks going out the door. Wouldn't be surprised if those prices end up going down a little bit next month, but that is not a bad problem to have. We're always trying to balance prices that we offer people through OneUp, our buyback service, with not only what market prices are currently at and what we can get for a game, but also how many we have in inventory. So managing those prices has been a full-time job on its own. But this station, similar to prepping, is set up for maximal efficiency. So we've got all of the different kinds of bags that we might need. Again, this is a good example of staying scrappy, right? Could have gone out and bought some decent looking trays, but instead we just used the boxes, the Amazon boxes that these things came in. Reinforced them a little bit though with some hefty Gorilla Tape there, and they fit super well in what used to be, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a little cut out for like a sound bar for when you have your TV here. But right now it makes a really solid little tray station. These, another great example of staying scrappy. Look at this. Maybe the motto should just be like, make crap out of cardboard, and be like Caleb, who's 30 now. This is what I come and do in my free time when I can't sleep on the weekend, is make little cardboard things so I don't have to spend $10 on Amazon. Over here, we now have a full shelf dedicated to stuff that is bagged and is ready to be listed. Previously, we had a couple bins of these over in our other shelving space over there, but that's a little bit inefficient in that you have to walk to the other part of the basement, grab those, and then like probably stack them here so that they're ready to be listed. We also have a similar kind of like, yeah, essentially a mini clockwise system on our listing stations, by the way. So like you can take a bin of these games that are bagged and ready to go, cleaned, resurfaced, ready to go to the final customer. You can stack them up here, and they also will go on a mini clockwise journey from being unlabeled to being listed. The label comes out here, and then the labeled ones will all get stacked over here and be ready to get sorted into whatever shipments Amazon, whatever warehouses Amazon tells us those stacks need to go to. But really happy. Spencer has like at least double the space that he used to, which is great, just having plenty of space to spread out. How have you liked it?
Excellent. Amazing.
And not only do we have more space on this single listing setup, but we've got another one over here. So Keaton, our new part-timer, who may eventually be full-time, we'll see, has been listing like a maniac, because now we have, and since he has been, last week we actually beat our previous weekly listing record at over 100K in items listed in 1 week, which is crazy. So very optimistic at the effects that we're going to be seeing from having 2 listing stations. I still can't believe that we only had 1 computer down here for so long. I guess we didn't really have a place to put it previously, but now we do, and I'm feeling really optimistic about it. So once everything is listed from these bins, get put into batches on Amazon, we then finally have the shipping station over here. And again, it's the same philosophy of having everything in arm's reach. I installed this shelf up here, this pegboard over here, so that all of our supplies are right here, but they don't have to clutter the surface. We lost a tape measure recently. It's supposed to be hanging right here, but this one doesn't have a, there we go. No more surface clutter. So we've got all of this space that we can physically pack things up, and you can just reach down a little bit for packing material. You can reach right here for the tape. You can reach up here when you need another box. You have to take 0 steps is the idea to pack up any size of box. If you need to refill the tape, it's all right here. All of our FBA shipping and individual item labels are right down here so that we can reload the dymos efficiently. There's been a lot of thought that has gone into what is the optimal place to store all of our various supplies and our games and our bins, and where do they make sense with this elevated space that we have now. And boy, I'm really tickled with how it's turning out. We're already starting to see the results of those changes, and yeah, not sure who really needed to hear this today, but folks, stay scrappy out there. Oh, also, before I let you go, I wanted to say, for my next video, I think I am going to do a Q&A. So I'm going to break my no comment reading rule for this one. If you've got a question, business-wise, personally, YouTube, flipping, whatever, put it down below, and I'll take some of my favorites to use in the next video while I'm doing some intake, maybe showing you guys how our intake process is looking these days, and unboxing a bunch of video games while I'm answering them. And then the last thing is, if you are a video game reseller, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on if you had any ideas for how I could further optimize the basement space. So let me know of those in the comments too.